Welcome to the conversation. Bridge the gap. It's Tyquan. I got my man Pook. You know, Pookie, aka El Nino. Most of y'all know him as El Nino, but I'll call him Pook. You know what I mean? aka Pookie. That's his hood name.
Way back.
For real. Yo, Pook, just introduce yourself. Let them know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Give them a little brief history. You know how you came up in the game. You know, you came up in the joint like from the get. You know, so you know the line is yours, bro.
Word. What up? For those who don't know me, my name is El Nino, a.k.a. Pookie. I represent Floor Lord's crew. You know, my crew started in 1981. It consisted of two crews. One was called the New York Puppeteers, and the other crew was called MBT, the Mass Break Team. And they formed together as one crew back in 81. And they started the Floor Lords. So that was like before my time, you know what I mean? But yeah, so my name's El Nino, and I've been breaking over 20 years now, since like 95, 96, around there.
So how old were you? About 95, 96?
Yeah, I was born in 90, so yeah, I was like 5, 6 years old, you know?
Damn.
Breaking, entering jams and stuff like that. Back then, it was more cypher, and there wasn't a lot of competitions and stuff like that like there is today. But I got footage online from at least I know as early from like 90, 97, 98 when I was like 7 years old. And that was at London's Jam. At London's Jam, back to Mecca. So
London from New York City Breakers.
What happened?
Is it London from New York City Breakers?
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Damn, that's word up. Was it? Let me ask you something. Was there a lot of pressure for you coming up as a young shorty? You know, with
Nah, not at all. Not really. Nah, I think the only pressure for me was like internally. You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted to. I wasn't dope enough to battle with my crew. You know, my crew has always been deep. You know, Floor Lords has always been deep. And, you know, like our A team was, you know, my older brother Flight, you know, Lefty, Lean Ski or Lino, Archie, a.k.a. B-Boy Rhythm, you know, or Flex, you know what I'm saying? I know these people probably don't know who those guys are, but, you know, they were like the A team. So I had to work my way up, but there wasn't really a lot of pressure, you know what I mean? When you're a kid, you just having fun with it, you know?
Right. How old were you when you hop out of that bag that came out pull you up from?
I had just turned 11. So it was like, you know, like probably a couple days after my birthday, you know what I mean? Like probably like a week or two after my birthday or something like that.
Yeah, it's crazy to know, like, at a young age, you know, you're already like battling with like the heavy hitters of those eras. You know what I mean? Like, that was a legendary battle. Who did you battle when you hopped out that bag? It was Remind, right? In Crumbs?
It was Headhunters, I think.
Oh, Headhunters.
Which was Natron and Deja Vu. Yes,
word.
I believe that was like semifinal or something. Quick shout out to my homie Dash. You know what I'm saying? He's a Floor Lord's crew for life. You know what I mean? He's tuned in. That's my
shout out to all Floor Lords, man. Floor Lords, y'all don't know, they're like MZK extended fam and vice versa, right? We always like got mad love for Floor Lords, man. You know what I mean? And you're like now the president, right? Of Floor Lords? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Oh, Miles said rolling up. Rolling. It was rolling. Actually, you're right. It was rolling. But, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm definitely president now. You know, because Lino has moved to Hawaii. And Lean Rock lives in L.A. now. So, yeah, I'm holding it down for the crew, you dig?
Yeah. For those guys that's joining, I got my man Pookie, El Nino, hold it down, Floor Lords Squadron. Seeing what everybody yo, you got some question for Pook, you know what I'm saying? You can always chime in and I'll make some notes and I'll ask him and all that. But so Floor Lords, I see there's a lot of new generation coming out from Floor Lords, like young ones, right? So that y'all developing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so one of our kids made it to the top 4 at freestyle session. Shout out Jacinto, you know what I mean? Me and XL been teaching them. We got like 4 or 5 kids that we're working with right now, trying to get them ready, you know what I mean? For the world, you know, for the world stage.
Bro, for real. As far as hip hop goes, I want to ask you. So, I know you basically came into the game as a young shorty and all that. What does hip hop mean to you? Like personally, you know.
I mean, for me personally, it's a positive outlet. You know what I'm saying? As a youngin' growing up, you know, I grew up in Dorchester, which is the hood, you know, here in Boston. It's the hood. It's like where Marky Mark's from or whatever, if people don't know, you know, but it's a pretty rough area. And, you know, I used hip-hop as an outlet to, you know, I had anger issues growing up, you know, anger management issues. And I would, you know, whenever I'd be, like, upset or mad at something, you know, I could take it out on the floor. And right. it taught me how to transfer that energy, you know what I mean? And use it for something good instead of going out and shooting somebody or doing something, you know, that would ruin my life forever. So, you know, hip-hop is real important to me. You know, I know a lot of people feel the same way. You know, it's really cliche to say it, you know, but, like, in a way, hip-hop did save my life.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got friends, you know, I got a student, you know, that, shout out to my homie Etho, rest in peace, you know what I mean? He was one of my best students, and he was Floor Lord's crew. But he had 1 foot in the streets and 1 foot in hip-hop. You know, and unfortunately he lost his life, you know what I mean, in a violent way. And you know what I mean, that was another life lesson. So after that happened, I was just like, all right, that's it. Like I'm gonna just break. Like I gotta stop hanging out with knuckleheads and you know, just hanging out with the wrong people. And even when you chill with the wrong people, it could be people you grew up with, people that you love, but sometimes if you want to stay positive, you gotta drop some people out of your lives, even if you love them. You know what I mean? So I had to make some of those decisions, and you know, that's what hip hop basically is for me. You know what I mean? It keeps me grounded too.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Keep you grounded. Yeah, that's the same way as me, man. Like straight up, you keep me grounded and honestly help me self-reflect, right? On that knowledge of self type deal, make me grow to better people.
Yeah, right.
You know, because a lot of people... Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I think too, even if you're not in the hip-hop world no more and you work in a regular job or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Hip-hop can also, like, help you stay grounded too from, like, your regular everyday life. Like, you can get away from that. You know what I mean? So some people play video games to get away from reality. Some people do other things, you know what I mean? Some people do yoga or whatever, you know, we break, you know what I mean? So that's you know, what it is for me. It's like therapy.
Yeah, that's one thing what I love about you and I mean the whole Floor Lords is just the fact that y'all really from the hood, and y'all, you know, always elevate and try to push in a way positivity, right? And always educate the next generation. It's like, yo, this is what hip hop's about. And y'all about, you know, not just breaking, y'all about MCing, writing, you know, DJing, what have you. So y'all like a hip hop crew, not just a so-called b-boy crew. You know what I mean?
Right. We got DJs down with our crew. Shout out Lazy Boy. You know what I'm saying? Our homie Khan. And also my homie Ninja B. you know what I'm saying, who's still like super DJ. He only plays vinyl, doesn't like Serato, you know what I'm saying? You know, he been representing the crew for a while, you know what I mean? So shout out to him.
Yeah, especially you though, Pook. You know, I think I met you in 2005, but I mean, I've known you for a while and seeing your growth as well, you know, as a person. And you come from the streets, you know, and get into the B-boy side of things. And you always like try to elevate, right? With the big events and all that. But you always try to balance, you know, out with the streets as well, you know, be involved with the streets and all that. So that's what I see in you. You know, it's like, it seems like you never forget where you came from. You always put your, you know, hard work in back to develop, you know, the next generation or what have you, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also, you know, I think, you know, like this weekend on Friday, I'm heading to Baltimore to go support Fleg's event. You know, I'm trying to support. You know, it's harder now. You know, I'm married and I got a kid, so
yeah.
I got my son, so you know, I try to support as much as I can. But nowadays, I only have time to support like the real and support events that I feel are quality, and support what I think is dope. You know what I'm saying? So I'm at a point in my life where like, if your event is trash and you got like unqualified judges and like the DJ you got spinning is like your best friend or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like I can't like just some dude, some DJ you got off the street, like, you know, if it's local and I can make it, I'll support. But you know, I'm really, even with Flow Lord's anniversary, we try to promote that, you know what I mean? We try to promote and support the real, you know, and push it, help push the real, you know?
Yeah.
So that way the narrative don't change as to what a hip-hop event should look like. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so let me ask you a question. Let's go straight into that. So you think tradition should be respected, you know, for those that's coming to the game and know what this shit is about?
Oh, absolutely. You know, for our era, you know, the era we were coming up in, we all had idols, you know what I'm saying? People that we looked up to and that we loved and we respected, you know what I mean? For me personally, it being, you know, Flo, Nino, Storm, you know, Gumby and Ice from Suicidal Lifestyles. I met them in like 98 and they inspired me, you know what I mean? Of course, K-Mel and, you know, but I don't break like any of those guys. You know what I mean? They inspired me and they helped me, you know, mentally and even physically to a certain aspect.
Right.
But I always try to represent those guys, but represent them in my own way and make sure that their legacies never die, because if it wasn't for them, you know what I mean, I wouldn't be here. And Incredible Breakers. Shout out to Incredible Breakers too. You know, but those guys are some of my biggest inspirations. And I think, you know, that's kind of the issue that I see now, you know, with all the biting that we're seeing now and just the blatant biting and people not really showing that respect. You know what I mean? Like just off the top of my head, you know what I mean? The first thing I could think, you know, everybody is doing, you know, I've been seeing a lot of people doing the jumping bean windmills, you know what I mean? And that's, we all know that's caveman's move, you know? But since caveman's not really in the scene, people feel like, oh, well, he's in the scene, but I think he lives in South America now, you know, in Latin America. Like, yo, give that man his props, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to use his move and take what he invented and brought to the game, that's cool. You could do it, but like, make sure that you give that man his props for what he contributed, you know, to the scene. And I think that's important for sure. All traditions all around the board, whether you're a DJ, if you're a DJ, you should be digging for records. You should be, you know, not just, you know, I go to a lot of jams. So it's not just with B-boys. it's with DJs too. Everywhere I go, I hear the same music, and it's not yours. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it is my cousin Lean Rocks, and I'm sitting here in jams, and I'm like, yo, homie on the DJ booth is really playing DJ Lean Rock right now, and you not
like whole mix, right?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Not so one song.
It's crazy, you know what I mean? It's like, yo, if you mix one song in there or something like that, but I be hearing whole mixes and all that, you know? That's crazy to me. So, but yeah, you know, I think, yeah, traditions absolutely need to be, how you say, protected. You know what I mean? And people, our pioneers, need to be protected, you know? And I think I'm seeing less and less of it. So I feel like, you know, people like yourself, MZK, that's what I love about MZK. Because when y'all come to a jam, y'all come all colored out, flagged up, MZK on your shirts, MZK on your vests, and y'all come as a crew, you know what I mean? And that's a traditional thing, you know what I mean? Like, you guys are keeping tradition alive, and I can only respect that, you know what I mean? I only have respect, nothing but respect for that, you know, because you see less and less of it nowadays.
Yeah, and that's what we do as well, you know. And that's why, you know, the respect level is mutual. Is we came from that, I guess, that same school, right? On that street knowledge, that hip hop officialness, you know what I mean? And yeah, I feel like a lot of cats is not rocking, you know, they crew, like, you know, like I would see you with the visionary lifestyle,
in the US, especially in the US, I feel like we need more crew battles. We need to bring that crew energy overall. We need to bring that back, I think. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yo, Spin said, he said something like, what do you think about moves that get so popular that become this generation's foundation? Some moves elevate to that level eventually. Ultimate contribution move.
I agree with Spin. Like, I think, you know, I think if it's a move that becomes really popular amongst the world and it's like you can't really stop people from doing it, then like, okay, I get that. But certain people bite like signature moves of this single B-boy that we all know is like, when you do that, it's like, yo, come on, fam. Like, I've seen people dress up just like B-boys, try to do top rock just like certain people, and throw signature moves. You know what I mean? Now, that's not okay. Now, what Spin is talking about, too, I don't really like that. You know what I mean? So, only thing I can do about that, me personally, is I try to stay away from it. You know what I mean? If everybody's doing something one way, I just go left. If everybody's going right, I go left. You know what I mean? Period. Because I just think it's, you know, I think things are corny and they get played out really quickly. You know? And it doesn't make you stand out. And as a B-boy, you want to stand out. That should be you know what I mean? That should be the most important thing to you, is that you want to stand out, but you also want to keep the tradition alive. So you just want to have a good foundation. You know what I mean? There's some people who got like these crazy, weird, different styles, and it's cool as long as you stay within the foundation of the dance and you don't go outward a little bit too much. You know what I mean? I hope that answers just your question, Spin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even add that to you for a prime example is, we know K Mel, we all love K, but K always give props to where his due. You know, just like that freeze where he go up on his head and stand there. You know, he always shout out Smoke. You know, big shouts to Smoke, but he always shout Smoke, like, yo, I got that from my man Smoke. You know, like that's the whole point. I think Pookie was talking about. It's always give props to where you find that initial inspiration from. You know what I mean? And I think we kind of lack that, right?
Yeah. I think also too, like, you know, a lot of the younger generation right now just aren't really taking the time to do research. You know what I mean? So if you're doing something, you know, if you're doing some type of art form, I think it's important to do your research on it and the more knowledge you are on that art form, I think the better you'll be, because you can understand. In order to go where you want to go, or in order to go where you're trying to go, you got to know where you're coming from. You know what I mean? You got to know the movements of what you're doing, like where it comes from. So when you mention like K-Mel doing the roll back to headstand and K-Mel shouting out smoke, the first thing I thought about was like, oh, you can go even deeper than that and look at the Kung Fu movies that we used to watch, where you would see the Shaolin monks and shit, like, roll back.
Oh, yeah, going up. Yeah.
Jackie Chan doing, like, little windmills and all that. And then, it goes deeper. So if you really care about it, you'll take the time to do some more research on what you're doing, not just doing it. You know what I mean?
And I think it's just come back to that street code. Honestly, it's this extension of the street, right? Like coming up in the hood, like you always want to be different, right? If you from this block, you want to be different from that block. If you go to a party, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to go in there with the same fit or have the same lingo. That's why you go from hood to hood. You hear different lingos and people interact differently. You know what I'm saying? It's always about that being different, standing out. You know what I mean? And so I think it's come back to that, that code. But yeah, like the whole biting thing, I see cats just buying a whole style, like the way they dress. I see cats in Asia just dressed just like Phantom, bro. You know what I'm saying? Crazy. Yeah. That whole demeanor, I was like, damn, for real? And for me, that's
everything.
Yeah, everything with the jersey, pinstripe, and come on, dog, stop. But yeah, man, shouts to everybody coming through. I got my man Pook up in this joint.
Let's read some questions. Some people asking some questions in the comments.
Let me see here. What do you feel about touching in B-boy crew? I mean, B-boy battles. This brother's asking what?
You know what it's.
How do you feel about touching in battles?
I mean, that's always been a no-no. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always been kind of like a rule, like, yo, you don't touch. I think if things get a little bit heated, and you touch by accident, you know what I'm saying? Or you're trying to push somebody backwards because you're trying to do your round or something, then that's okay. But, like, I've seen people try to, like, ruin somebody's round or, like, get in the way, you know what I'm saying? Or, like, put their foot in the way to mess up somebody's round. Like, that's really stupid, and
right.
Especially for jams now, we got a lot of kids. We're not really trying to put that example out there in front of kids. Because, actual beef can happen. If it's the wrong people, you know what I'm saying, that you messing with, then a fight can actually happen. So I don't really like that. I understand sometimes it happens. You know what I mean? But if it's very intentional, then I don't really support that,
Right. Now, as far as B-boy crew battles, right, why do you think that don't happen no more? I know one thing is promoters saying, it's just the expense, right? For you feel like there should be more B-boy crew battles?
B-boy Superman or whatever. That's a good example. But go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, I live in the projects. B-boy Superman.
Nah, homie was saying, about that one time when Lilu tried to jump over Gravity while Gravity was in the middle of doing the flip. It's like, that's not okay. You know what I mean? That's not cool.
Yeah, that's definitely not cool. Hurry C, he's stating, trying to like scroll up and everybody is the B-boy crew becoming extinct because of the teaching of community has been overtaken by the allure of the worldwide view?
No, I think crews were a lot crews were a lot more like, I would say, dominant before, because the cypher was more important. You know what I'm saying? Now the competition is more important, and most competitions are one-on-ones. And I think that's kind of the issue now. You know, I want to shout out some jams that are crew battles. Just I feel like they're needed, you know. So like, you know, this B-Boy City, which I still haven't been to. I gotta go to that jam. I hear great things. There's Temple Rock, you know what I'm saying? Floor Lords, we do a 3-on-3 crew battle. You know, I can't think of any more right now. Of course, you know, Freestyle Session. But yeah, I definitely think we need some more crew battles in the scene as a whole. Just because everything is one-on-one focused right now. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with one-on-ones. I just think we need a little bit of balance. And, you know, with crew battles, you know, I think it initiates more ciphers. It initiates more cipher battles. And it kind of brings that essence back of, like, when you're with your crew, you want to make sure that you want to represent your city. You know, you want to represent your crew right in the ciphers and in the competition. You know what I mean? So it goes both ways. But yeah, I'm hoping, you know, it goes full circle and we get that back a little bit more, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing, is just the fact that with the scene nowadays, it's about, you know, it's kind of focused on a cash prize, you know? So if like 10 cats come to a crew battle, it's for 500, cats like, yo, is it really worth it? You know what I'm saying? But I think people forget, and that's why it's very important to go back to why we all fell in love with this dance in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It comes back to that, and I feel like as long as the vibe is right, the DJ is right, and this is for all the promoters. As long as the vibe is right, the floor is right, the DJ is right, yo, even if it's 10 on 10 for 1,000, people gonna still come through. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't matter. Like, just put it out there, you know? So I feel like as long as the vibe, the DJ is right, people gonna come and rep their crew, rep their city, rep their set. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's for 1,000 or even 500, you know? Because at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can enter, you know, the other ones, you know, 3-on-3 for 3,000, what have you. But if the crew battle, if we all want the crew battle to happen in this community and culture, let's get back to what the shit is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop focusing on just going to the gym and trying to, you know, oh, let's get this bread. But hey, let's go and rep what the shit is about. You know what I'm saying? And that's for everybody. If everybody's on the same mindset, and everybody's gonna come through, you know, regardless. You know, so I think we sometimes we just need to balance it out. Like, just stop focus on the money all the time. You know what I'm saying? Money gonna come regardless, you know, whether it be you get a side hustle or what have you. But when it comes to this shit, like, if the promoter is saying, yo, the expense and all that, like, yo, I can't put up 20G for a 10 on 10. You know what I'm saying? And that's the normal. Yeah, I get it. From a business standpoint, on their overhead, like, yo, every time a promoter throw a jam, that's a lot of overhead, right? A lot of overhead expense for 20 grand. And that means everybody who won, they get 2G each, right? But I feel like if the B-boy themselves, if we kind of like remind ourselves what this shit is about, even if a promoter put up like 10 on 10 for 500 or 1,000, yo, let's go. Let's get everybody like, yo, let's go and rep. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it should come down to that. You know what I'm saying? Represent that crew shit. You know what I'm saying? That family shit. And eventually, you know, once the events get big, I'm sure they're going to get sponsors, what have you, right? And so the prize money will go up. But I feel like if promoters out there that's doing crew battles, I think, you know, we all should like help support those promoters as well. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, for sure. And it's I think with crew battles, like Manny in the comments, he just said, I think for crew battles, it should be more about building with your crew, not so much really about, you know, the cash prize or whatever. You know what I mean? So, for me, with my other crew, with Squadron, you know, like, most of them live in LA. So anytime I get a chance or there's a battle in LA that I could come to, at least once a year for freestyle session, I try to go and build with them. You know what I mean? So at least once, twice throughout the year, you know, when I can make it, I try to make it out, and vice versa, so we can vibe out together and keep that bond together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree with you. Yeah. So big ups to all the promoters out there that's, you know, do throw crew battles and continue to do that, you know, and if promoters saying, yo, or kind of worried about the expense, like, yo, I don't want to put up like 20 grand or 10 grand. Yo, put up 500. I mean, 10 on 10. As long as you got dope official DJs there, the vibe is right, you're going to have crews like Floor Lords, you know, MZK, whoever, you know what I mean? Like, just come through and just wreck shop, you know? So yeah.
Right.
Shouts to everybody, you know, in the building. Let me see who's... Yo, Vix. Yo, what up, Vix? He's asking, what is the gap that needs to be bridged in the culture? I feel like just understanding, yo, like, you know, from one generation to the next, right? I feel like the new generation, they don't understand, you know, that how we came up, you know? But I feel like there needs to be some dialogue with them, you know, and just like shouts to Box, you know, he's holding it down, but, you know, me and you kind of disagree on some of the things he said, right? We kind of commented like, yo, Box. You know, he's saying something like the classics and stuff, and I see him comments about, you know, the new generation, I mean, the old generation, this and that. I don't know why all of a sudden, you know, he posted that, but there's something about, I mean, we got to hear his point of view too, right? So I think I'm going to have Box get on one of these days again and see his point of view, but I feel like there's a communication gap, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you know what? There's a time and a place for everything. So, you know, with the classics, I think it's always good, and this goes back to having good DJs. It's always, if you got a good DJ, the DJ will know when's the right time to throw the classics on. Like, maybe you don't want to battle to the classics, you know what I mean? But during cypher time, I think is the best time to really throw those classics, because some of the classics are a little bit slower. You can vibe out and really dance, whereas when the competition started, it's like really faster music. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I feel like
this dude's asking me a question. He's going crazy in the. He said, Alvaro, yo, what is your record of drills during one round? Bro, honestly, I have no clue. I don't know, to be honest. I've been breaking 23 years, bro. I have no clue. I couldn't tell you what's my record. I think my record of head spins, just spinning on my head, was when I was younger and I was actually trying to like break a record or whatever. And I did like 300 head spins or some shit like that. But I don't know like what's my record of drills. You know what I mean?
Spin asked you, is there a difference between what you choose to do with Floor Lords compared to battling with Squadron?
Oh, I saw that, right? So Spin, check it. So I'm gonna answer that question. So with Floor Lords right now, most of the crew is working regular jobs. They can't really travel as much. So we battle more on the East Coast. You know what I mean? And also, since I'm the president of the crew, I try to give them an opportunity to put on for themselves and to earn their name themselves. You know what I mean? But I do battle with them. Like this weekend, I'm battling with my homie Flow Rock at Flex Jam. So, and at the beginning of 2019, the beginning of like mid 2019, we won a couple jams last year together too. So yeah, the difference, honestly, there is no difference, man, because both of my crews, Flow Lords and Squadron, are both like family. Period. You know what I mean? It's if I don't see Squadron for a whole year or 2 years or whatever, whenever we get up, it's just like me and K-Mel. Like I haven't, I don't talk to K-Mel every day, but every time I see him or if I call him or whatever, it's just we pick up where we left off. You know what I mean? So it's all love.
Yeah, that brotherhood, right? It goes deeper than just breaking. Let me see. I think the Squadron Park Jams is a big step. It's a jam what people vibe out and have fun when big names do jams. It helps the younger generation see what a jam is. Yeah, shouts to Squadron,
right, so
man.
Yeah, so I want to talk a little bit about the Squadron Park Jam. Styles, no joking.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
The whole point of that jam, and I got to shout out Keeves, I got to shout out Squid Rock, I got to shout out. We back on? All right, cool. So what I was saying was, the Squadron Jam, we're just trying to bring balance to the typical competition that's going on today. And what we're trying to do is we bring 3 legendary, iconic DJs to spin, and we throw a park jam, and sometimes there's a competition, sometimes there's not. But even if there is a competition, we only choose 8 from the ciphers, and we get the competition over quickly because we want it to be more about the music and the ciphers. And so that's kind of our concept. And the fact that it's in a park jam, it's in a park, it brings that hip-hop vibe, that old-school hip-hop vibe back. And it's very different from most jams you see nowadays. And so the concept of it was to try to take what Christy, Fable's wife, does with the Tools of War Park Jam, and also with the jams that we see all around the world. We take our knowledge and try to fuse those together. And that's the whole concept of the jam. But if you haven't been to one, it's really dope, man. Really, really dope.
Yeah, when are y'all planning on the next one?
We're working on it now. It's gonna be at Pan Pacific Park. I don't know the date yet. Squid, if you're still on the chat, put the date in the comments. But yeah, if you're in the LA area around that time, you definitely want to go check that out.
Yeah, I saw a trailer, some footage of it. I'm like, damn, that vibe is right.
Yeah, it's raw. It's really raw. So, and a lot of people who've been there, they can attest to it for sure.
Yeah. Yo, and again, for those that join, I got my man El Nino, a.k.a. Pook, up in this joint. We just here steadily building, and after this, I'm gonna, record this joint, put on YouTube, so people that missed this conversation can chime in and get the knowledge. You know what I'm saying? As far as battle goes, right? And you've been in mad battles, from cypher battles to competition, winning big ones and all that. What are some of your memorable rival battles? Like, do you have any rivalry coming up that you feel like, when we see each other, it's on?
Not really, because I feel like there's such a gap of era. I just feel like I'm from a completely different era. But what I definitely do try to do is I try not to complain about what's wrong with the scene and all. You know what I mean? I just do me, and I try to practice hard and stay in shape, so I can still get out there and kill it. You know what I mean? But as of right now, nah. But over the years, early on, shout out to my homie Bebo from Ground Effects Crew. Me and Bebo really, early on, we helped each other, like, build up. You know, we were, like, really rivals. And we battle each other all the time. Sometimes he would win, sometimes I would win, and vice versa, you know what I mean? But I think it's good. I would say for the next generation, and even my crew members too, I tell them, like, you know, for Flow Lords, the new generation, I tell them, like, yo, pick out a person or two that you think is dope, and that's your competition right there, and focus on smoking them. Or if you battled them before and they beat you or they smoked you, then that's your goal right there. You know what I mean? So I think me and Bebo, you know, Bebo really helped me to stay on my toes, because he wanted the #1 spot in Boston and I wanted the #1 spot in Boston. So we was always going at it, but it was good for both of us because it made us both train hard. You know what I mean? And it was and we cool, we good now. Besides that, I'll say Flow Lords, you know, Flow Lords and Breaks Crew from New York City. You know, we had a rival thing going on for many years, for you know, most of the late 90s into like the early 2000s. And you know, we would go at it every time we seen each other. Ciphers, crew battles, wherever we saw each other, we going at it. To the point where they even paid us one time to do an exhibition battle, because we would battle each other so much. You know what I mean? So people, yeah.
Word up. So someone asked, your hardest competition jam you attended?
The hardest?
Yeah. What's your hardest competition that you attended?
I would say not for the dancing wise, but just more for the pressure of it is probably BC1. And I think the thing that's hard about it is just like you got to do all this press. You know, they fly you in a week before and you're like doing interviews and they make it so it's bigger than what it really is. And you just really want to get on stage and battle. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of energy is wasted on photo shoots and like interviews and all that, when really you just want to battle. You know what I mean? So I think that part, just the bright lights and the pressure makes it hard. Not really being on the stage, I don't think that makes it hard. You know what I mean? It's just everything around it. You know
the whole process, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's going to be the next...
last time I did... What happened?
No, I was saying, I think that's going to be the next generation. Honestly, that's going to be the norm for them, because honestly, that's going to be a so-called professional, right? I mean, from interviews and journalism to photo shoot and getting ready, and you know, they got to know how to deal with that. You know what I mean? With the Olympics coming up as well, right? And it's going to be crazy. So I think the new generation, they got to know how to deal with that, like photo shoot, interviews, and big camera lights, you know, up in their face. And for them, I see it. By the time they step on that stage, it's like, you know, the energy level is like, you know what I mean?
Well,
I feel you. I feel what you're saying.
Last BC1. You can see it at the last BC1. There was a couple people on the stage that you could just tell, you know, that the stage and the bright lights was messing with them. So
yeah, it is a lot of pressure. I'm not gonna front, you know. Do you ever want to stop breaking?
Did I ever want to stop breaking? Early on, you know what I'm saying? Early on, when you're a kid and you're like get really frustrated and whatnot, I wanted to quit like twice in my life. Once I was like probably like 10, 11 years old, and I caught a growth spurt, and I started like growing a little bit, and my body changed, and I couldn't really hit the moves that I wanted to as much no more, because I was growing, and I was just like that awkward kid, you know, going through puberty or whatever. And I just got like really frustrated. I thought I wasn't getting better until I looked at old footage of myself, and I was like, oh, okay, I am getting better. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it now. So sometimes you gotta look at old footage of yourself and then look at new footage of yourself and realize like you might not be seeing the improvement, but you are actually improving. And then the second time in my life was straight out of high school, where I had a good job, you know, straight out of high school, and I had to make like that tough decision of like, am I gonna go in the real world and like, you know, just work this job, or am I gonna quit the job and like pursue what makes me truly happy? You know what I mean? And ultimately, I decided, you know what I mean, to quit that job and just break full time. And it was, you know, it was one of the best decisions of my life, I think. My life would probably be very different if I made that decision. So, but since then, since like 18 till now, I haven't thought about quitting.
So let me add to that. What keeps you going? Day in, day out, year after year. What keeps you going?
For me, man, it's you know, it's bigger than me. I think a lot that keeps me going right now is my son. You know, I want to be a great example for him. I think my crews, you know what I mean? My state, like none of it is really for me. You know what I mean? Like I put on for Float. You know what I mean? I put on for Domino, for my Floor Lord crew members that put on before I was here. You know what I mean? And whenever I battle or whatever, I try to carry that on my back. You know, carry my crew legacy on my back. And so that's mainly what keeps me going. You know what I mean?
Right. Good shit, bro. So TikTok, he asked you, how do you judge when you see b-boys biting others people's boo?
Word. That's a good one. It's really hard because sometimes both b-boys are biting. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, if both dudes are biting, like it kind of cancels each other out. You know what I mean? I just pick who did a little bit better. And if it's you know, if it's somebody that's like original and they're battling somebody that's clearly biting, like I'm gonna vote for the dude that's more original, because I give more points to originality now, because nowadays it's scarce. You know what I mean? It's a lot of b-boys look the same. A lot of people break the same transitions. So I appreciate an original b-boy a lot more nowadays. Yeah, it is kind of hard sometimes to like see people blatantly biting and like have to vote for them. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, it's a competition. It's not in the cypher. You know, if it's in the cypher, like, you know, I'll diss you straight to your face. Like, I'll yell at you. I'll call out who created the move or whatever.
Right.
You know, it's a competition. So somebody got to win. I'm hired to do a job. I gotta pick a winner. You know what I mean? But in most cases, like I said, like specifically out of my head right now, like there was a battle that I judged as Street Star in Sweden. This was some years back, like 2013 or something like that. It was a while back, but I remember the final battle was like, I remember Robin being on the squad. I think it was either Eastside B-Boys or Top 9. It was Top 9 actually against like some Italian dudes. Actually, my bad. They were French, some French dudes. I forget the name of the French crew, but they were biting a lot. The French crew, technically they won the battle, but all of their commandos and routines and all that were like stolen from like Jinjo and other people. You know what I mean? And like, and Top 9 kind of just battled them straight up, you know, one-on-one. They didn't throw too many routines. But technically, the French crew won, but I voted against them because I felt they were just biting way too much. Like it was just too much for me. And I thought at the time, I thought the other judges were gonna vote for the French crew, but it ended up being a 3-2 vote for top 9. You know what I mean? I remember Robin came up to me after, and he was like, "Yo, that's real. Like you voted for us. You know what I mean? Like those guys were biting or whatever. You know, Robin thinks everybody bites, but in this case, they really were biting a lot. So I had no choice but to vote against them, even though technically they won the battle. But I had to vote against them.
Yeah, Robin is a good example of being original within the b-boy context. You know what I'm saying? I feel like we need to define that. Like, when you say original, like, most people think original is like going out, like doing some crazy shit that's not even breaking, you know what I mean? And it's like, yo, that's but...
you know, to me, you know, because some people ask, like, what do you think is original or, like, original b-boy style? Like, what is real b-boy style? And to me, I just say, like, yo, the epitome of that, to me, is Phantom, because he's Bronx style. You know what I mean? So I try not to break exactly like Bronx style because I'm not from the Bronx, but I do try and make sure that my footwork and my flavor and my text is there and whatever I do. And then I try to add, you know what I mean? I try to add some of the newer moves and whatever
combinations,
whatever combos, dope combos to, whatever higher level stuff I can add, I add to it. But I definitely always try to keep that raw b-boy flavor to the mix, because especially that's where I come from too. You know what I mean? Like I was taught, you know, my uncles are all 80s b-boys, you know what I mean, and poppers. So, you know, I kind of, they'd be disappointed in me, you know what I'm saying, if I start weird and different and trying to be something I'm not, you know what I mean? So I just stay true to me, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. You definitely bridging the gap, bro, because you coming from, you know, the 90s, you know what I'm saying? Your elders was straight official cats, you know, from the 80s. And so, and you know, you in the mix with the new generation as well, right? So you definitely holding it down, you know what I mean? Before we let you go,
right.
You got about 4
minutes.
I like
to hold it down for that, you know what I mean? I like to hold it down for everybody, for K-Mel, for Casper, for Smurf, you know, for Lean, you know, for all my homies that aren't really breaking as much anymore, you know, I try to hold it down.
Right. So what are some of your advices for the new generation coming up, you know?
Word. Well, you know, one thing I would say, I want to start off with this because I think is really, really important. I would say that I feel like the new generation, we need to get back to being hip hop heads again. I feel like a lot of b-boys and b-girls in the new generation, they love breaking, but they don't necessarily like connect with the hip hop culture. And I think like you can't have one or the other. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be a true b-boy or a true b-girl, if you ask me, like, what's a real b-boy or real b-girl or whatever, I would say, like, yo, you got to know the culture. You know what I mean? You gotta understand what hip-hop really is and be a part of it. You know, dress the part. You know, go to New York. Visit the pioneers. Kick it with Quick Step, Crazy Legs. Pick their brain. Ask questions. You know, I think that's really important, you know, like you did. You know what I'm saying? When I first met you, I met you in New York, and you were already, the first thing you told me was like, yo, I came out here to New York to train. I've been out here, you said, for like a month or two, and you were like, yo, I just been out here training and getting my knowledge right. You know what I mean? Exactly. And now you are who you are. You're a staple in our community because you took the time to understand and learn what it is. And I think a lot of the new generation is just you know, it's like cliche to say, but you know, some of them have no choice, but a lot of them are just learning on YouTube. and they don't care. They only care about breaking. And yes, breaking is dope. And of course, we love it. We all love it. But I think, like, you would love it more if you understand where it comes from. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's one. You know, I mean,
Okay,
I could go on forever.
Keep building, bro. Because I think the new generation need to hear what Pookie got to say, though. So keep building on that.
I would say, you know, if you live in a rural area, because I know some people can't really, you know, they don't have much going on in their city.
Yo, Poop, leave that thought because Instagram is going to end because it don't let us do an hour. So I'm going to come back and then you can finish up, you know, with your advices and stuff and keep building on that. I think it's good. I think new generation here need to hear from you, bro. So let me end this. I'm a rejoin back. All right.
Yo.
So we were building on advices for the new generation. You know what I'm saying? So keep building on that, bro. And you know, we just keep going.
Word. So I was just saying, like, I think we all need to be, you know, the new generation just needs to become more than b-boys. You know, I consider myself a hip-hop head and a b-boy. You know what I mean? Hip-hop head first because I fell in love with the music. I fell in love with the culture, the way my uncles dressed. You know, I looked up to them. So I think, you know, fall in love with the culture first and then pick your element. That's how it was back in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? You tried everything. And I've tried all the elements, by the way. You know, I know some people know I could rap. I tried graffiti, you know what I mean, for a couple years. I wasn't that good at it, so I stopped doing graph. But I love it, you know what I mean? Beatboxing, you know what I mean? I could beatbox a little bit, break, rap, you know, I make beats. And obviously, you know, the knowledge is there too. So I think that's important. And then the second thing I would say is, you know, if you're a new generation b-boy, you're trying to get into the culture, I would say try to find an OG to take you under their wing. You know what I mean? That's the best thing you can do is find an OG closest to you in your city and try to learn from them. You know what I mean? Because it's hard to learn on your own if you don't got the resources. So that's usually what I tell certain people in my workshops. Like, I get that a lot. Like, yo, I live in a rural town in the middle of nowhere. What do I do? I'm like, all right, well, you got to get some knowledge, so you're going to get the knowledge from the OGs. So try to find an OG close to you, and you got to get the inspiration. You got to stay inspired when you're not around like-minded individuals, so you got to travel. There's, like, no way around it. You know what I mean? You got to travel and support these jams and get that bug going. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of b-boys who moved to the main city just to break, you know what I mean? Because they loved it so much and they wanted to pursue it. So if you really want to do it, you know, you gotta take sacrifices. You know, my crew personally, we drove across country. We drove every weekend. We drove to New York for jams. We spent our own money to go to Pro-Am. You know, all the show money I would get, my uncle would put it aside for our tickets to go to Pro-Am. You know, so you gotta put in work. You know, I think if you're coming up, new generation, you want to come up. You know, the way I came up was, you know, I battled everybody in my city first until it became no contest, and then I went to the surrounding cities. You know what I mean? I went to New York. I went to Philly. I went, you know, little by little, trying to conquer, you know what I mean? Then I went out to the West Coast for B-Boy Summit, you know, and other jams out there, and I did my thing. It's not even necessarily like you got to win. It's like, no, just represent, you know what I mean? And I think the homie Box is a good example of that, you know what I mean? He represented everywhere he went. He tried his best. He didn't always win, but people took notice of this kid that's killing it, and he's representing hard. And that's why he is where he's at right now, you know, today. I believe that. So that's kind of what I would say as far as like to the new generation. Try to be original. Stay away from falling in that pattern of copying what you see everyone else doing because that's what's cool.
Right.
Like obviously, that's human nature. Humans are followers, but I think and when you, you know what I'm saying, and this generation, you want to stick out, and you're either gonna stick out one or two ways. Either you're mad original and you're dope and like you're repping, or you're like physically amazing like Pocket. You know what I'm saying, and it's just like super amazing what you can do. But you got either way. It's hard work. Either way, you know what I mean. Either way, you got to put in the work. So, yeah. Can't really think of anything else right now. I'm sure there's more, but yeah, I would say that.
How about your advice for them about, the interaction with the elders? You know what I'm saying? Because I see that a lot, right? I see cats kind of like dissing the old head. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
and yeah, let me hear Pook's opinion on that.
That's really it's really weird to me because we didn't grow up hating on our OGs or like not showing them respect. At the very least, you show them their respect because without them, there wouldn't be no you. You know what I'm saying? They put on for this culture. They laid the bricks down for us. They did the shows and not got paid for it. They went through the struggles that we didn't have to go to. They won the jams and got played by the promoters so that we can have a scene that we have now. You feel me? So I think that's really like crazy that people don't, that the new generation don't respect the OGs as much as they should, or because they can't physically do what they used to do or whatever. And a lot of that too is they're not doing their research. So a lot of these dudes are doing OGs moves and don't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they're not doing their due diligence. You feel me? But let's see. I see some people in the comments saying maybe an OG is fake. A lot of OGs be acting like divas though, right? I don't know what you mean by divas. I don't really think too many OGs act like divas, but if you feel like an OG is fake or whatever, I didn't say you gotta respect every OG. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some OGs that understand like if they come into the gym with a beer bottle in their hand and they're just sloppy and you know what I mean? Or if they're an OG that was around back in the day and left the scene for a long time and now they're trying to come into the scene and make money off of it, then I understand that too. Like, yeah, no respect for them. But, I'm really talking about, Swift Rock, Storm, Crazy Legs, Ken Swift, the guys that always been around in our scene that put it down.
Yeah. Lino, you know what I'm saying? For me, Lino's the OG.
Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, even my OGs, like Lino and Float, like, a lot of people don't even know who they are like that. A lot of people didn't know who Float was until he passed. You know what I mean? To me, that's kind of crazy because in the 80s, he was one of the best. A lot of people will tell you that. Some people don't even know who Track 2 is, which is crazy. That's like first generation B-boy. And, again, without him, you know what I'm saying, there would be none of us, I feel like. You know what I mean? So that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And I would hope that when I get old, people will respect me and not be like, oh, homie's whack because he can't do what he used to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, nah, you got to understand, like, we all putting on for the next generation, you know what I mean? And the next generation receives those benefits. So I was able to receive the benefits that I feel like a lot of my OGs didn't. And now these kids now are going, they got the Olympics, they got so much going for themselves that I feel like I helped put on. And not only me, obviously a bunch of other people around the world helped put that on, you know. But I think you have to respect it. You don't got to respect everybody. I'm not saying that because we all know there's some crazy
line moves out there.
yeah, you know what I mean? But a lot of those guys don't last in our scene anyway, you know what I mean? They're not respected, they're not like welcome, so you know, but
yeah, a lot of them that do basically a lot of them that we don't respect, you know what I'm saying, just play themselves out, right? And so you don't need to worry about even dissing them. They're just gonna play themselves out regardless. You know what I mean? But the ones that really put in work and developing the next generation or like put their like sacrifice and add on to the scene, y'all know who's who. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to name them like off the rip. We know who's who, you know? But yeah, I agree with you. You know, that's something that I came up on is respecting your elders, you know? And that's just a staple of what this culture is about, you know? Because if you think about hip hop, it comes back to that thing that you were talking about, hip hop. Like, people got to understand what hip hop is about. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is this community. You know what I'm saying? If you really think of a community, there's a lot of elders, you know?
And also, I feel like the way you should approach things anyway, like, I give everybody respect. I give everybody their respect or my respect until you disrespect me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be cordial with you. I'm gonna be cool with you. I'll say what's up. You know what I mean? I'll try to build with you. And if we don't connect, that's cool. You know, I don't gotta be friends with everybody. I ain't trying to be friends with everybody, but I try to show everybody, you know, I try to be a good person and be respectful towards everybody. And I'll be that until you disrespect me. You feel me? So that's just how I feel about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, respect goes, you know, both ways, right? But for us, I think what Pookie is saying is like, for us, like off the rip, we should just show that respect. You know what I'm saying? And then until they show their true nature, right? And that's the thing. Most of these cats that who's on that line is or what have you, they're gonna play themselves out. Y'all gonna see. You know what I'm saying? So, but
that's I mean,
hopefully when he's, you know, 50s and the 60s, he's gonna be Pookie. He's gonna be respectful. He's gonna be, you know, and not play himself out to the next generation. And hopefully the next generation don't see Pook as just, oh, he's just an old dude or this and that. You know what I mean? That's kind of whack. So, but yeah, good point. All the way through. Let me see. I'm trying to go up because a lot of people commented. Let's see here. You got any other advice though for the new generation, Pook?
I mean, that's pretty much the gist of it. You know what I mean? I can't really think of anything. I'm sure once we get offline, I'll think of more. You know what I mean? But, you know,
right.
I like to talk to people. You know, I like to talk to people individually. You know, so if you see me at a jam or whatever, just come up to me and ask me some questions. If you got questions, I'll you know what I mean? I'll build with you. I'm down to build with anybody, always.
Yeah, exactly. Always about building. Someone asked, what's your opinion on people taking it strictly like a sport? For example, people ZQ.
Taking breaking as a sport only?
Like strictly as a sport. I guess this person, Nicker Ness. What's your opinion on people taking it strictly like sport?
I mean, I don't respect it because it's not what it is. You know what I mean? It's not a sport. It has sport aspects to it. You know what I mean? It's very physical. It's very competitive. But that's when it comes to the competition. Like, not when it comes to the cypher. Again, you know, I think we need to separate those two concepts. You know, the competition, when I first started going to jams, there wasn't even a such thing as a competition. You know what I mean? A jam was like, you just come, you dance, and you cypher. So me being around in the late 90s, mid 90s, I know that. You know what I'm saying? Some of these kids don't know that. And that's where it goes back to like, yo, you got to kind of do your research. You know what I mean? And I know we kind of wanted that kind of like segues into the Olympics stuff a little bit. You know what I mean? And, you know, I believe you support it, right? The Olympics.
Of course.
Yeah. And I support it too. And I'm going to tell you why I support it. For one, the number one reason is a little bit deeper than that. Like, I would like to see more kids from the hood be attracted to this dance. You feel me? So that was the number one, especially in USA, because we got a lot of kids in Asia, a lot of kids in Europe too. But me, you know, I come from the hood. Box comes from the hood. Shout out to my homie Breeze. You know, I really support the kids who come from the hood that break. And I think the Olympics would kind of help some of these kids kind of like get out of gangs and try to do something productive. You know, maybe they can't play basketball or they can't rap or whatever, but they could break. You know what I mean, or whatever. So I support it for that, number one. And then the second reason is because I feel like it will give more validation to the mainstream of how we're looked at as b-boys in the professional world. You feel me? Because like, I'll give you an example. Actually, next week I got offered to do a movie. You know what I'm saying? To film a movie scene, and it's an 2 days, 8-hour work day, and they were offering $180. You know what I'm saying? For 8 hours of your time and dancing and all that. And I'm like, that's insane. You know what I'm saying? That's insane to me. Like, that's not worth my time. So obviously I feel like, you know, if breaking's in the Olympics, it's in the movies, all that, it's not going to water down the scene as long as people like me and you and others continue to throw raw jams, continue to put on for the culture, and continue to have hip-hop panels and keep teaching. You know what I mean? The scene won't get watered down because of these other elements. I just feel like it'll get stronger. We got to work together on that. You know what I mean? So when the scene gets these opportunities, these commercial opportunities, I feel like I'm cool with it as long as we're involved. You know what I mean? And in the Olympics, we're involved heavily. You know what I mean? We have Cross is involved in it. My homie Task is involved. Moy is involved. You know, who else? Probably, I think Crazy Legs. You know, there's names in there that I know for sure. I know these people personally. I know they're not going to let it water down our scene, or at least they're gonna make sure that it's represented correctly. And you know, that was I understand people's people getting emotional about it. You know what I mean? But I always wait for the facts to come out first before I go all crazy and like before I say I'm against something,
assuming or something,
or for it. You know what I mean? So I just waited for the facts. I didn't say anything. Then when I found out a little bit more, then I was like, all right, cool, I support it. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with that. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, do you think there will be any cons? Because we know it ain't gonna be perfect world, right? Like anything in life, you know what I mean? So, what do you think would be some cons for it?
A con of it, a con, and I'll tell you, and this is, you know, and this is kind of happening now as well. You know, and you know, no disrespect to all like the social media platforms that are promoting dance, especially like Breakin, but like sometimes they promote things that just go viral or that are just to go viral, and those things don't really represent our scene correctly. You feel me? And so I feel like it puts the wrong message out there about what this culture and what this dance is really about. And I fear that with the Olympics, you know what I mean? Because I see it happening on social media where like all these corny videos are being posted, and I'm like, and people love it, you know what I mean? Because it's like people just love it because it's some whatever, it's some viral video, whatever. But like that's not really what this culture is about, and I think, you know, we have to like put some more pressure on some of those platforms to let them know, like, yo, if you're gonna be representing our scene, you know, you gotta represent it right because you have a lot of power. You have power that to kind of you have power to put it out there to the masses of what this dance is, and that's a lot of power to have, a lot of power that you have in your hands. And so if you're posting whack shit and shit that ain't really dope and is not hip hop, you know what I mean? I got an issue with that. And with the Olympics, like, you know, if kids start thinking that, you know, the Olympics is what it is, and that's what breaking is, you know what I mean? I think that can be a con of it, where like the masses kind of, it becomes something else. That's kind of what I fear about it. But at the same time, like I said, there's a lot of us who are here trying to protect the culture. And, you know, we're a stubborn group of people, you know, this B-boy community, especially the OGs and the peeps from the 90s. We really try to protect the culture. And so I think we need to, in order to do that, we just got to make sure that we have some control with the narrative in the Olympics, and also the narrative of what's being posted on Instagram and all these like these videos and stuff like that. So yeah, I think, you know, that can be a con, and that's only time will tell type of thing. You know what I mean? But we can always flip it. You know what I mean? We can always flip it and make sure that we fix it.
Yeah, I think there's a big responsibility, you know, for any media within the scene now, right? And once this goes big, eventually it will go big, no doubt about it. And more people will start, you know, going online and seeing what the breaking community is about. And I feel like, you know, anybody that's doing big media, you know, have media platforms, what have you, yeah, there is a responsibility as a representative within the community to display what this dance is really about. So, yeah, it's basically come down to that. Is, you know, we all have a responsibility, you know what I mean? Because honestly, yeah, we all passionate about it. We love it. So, yeah, let's, like you said, you know, let's protect it, but at the same time, let the new generation, you know, take it to the next level. You know, there should always be a balance, right?
I truly believe in balance. You know what I mean? And I've lived throughout the 90s, 2000, and now up until now. So I've seen different eras come and go, and I've been there where I've seen like where we've pushed back too much with corporations and stuff like that, where they could have helped the scene a little bit. So I think it's just all balance. You know what I mean? As long as we balance it out, we'll be straight. You feel me?
Yeah. Exactly, bro. As far as the elders, what would be your advice for them to understand the perspective of the new generation? You know what I'm saying?
The elders?
Like, yeah, OGs, because honestly, they tune in as well. Trust me, like they watch the show. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure. You know what? I think, you know, you gotta give it time to understand, you know, the motives of the new scene, and you gotta understand too that everything evolves. You know what I mean? And you gotta let it evolve, but correct certain things that you feel need to be corrected. You know what I mean? So I'm cool with letting it evolve. What I'm not cool with is like people being okay with biting. You know, I'm not okay with like whack promoters who don't throw quality jams. So, you know, if it's if it's new generation people doing that, or like a new generation DJ or whatever, you know what I mean? I just pull them aside. I don't yell. I don't whatever. I just try to give my advice. And either you could take it or not take it. You feel me? But like you said earlier, you know, a lot of those people play themselves out.
Right.
And I just, you know, and like Nipsey Hussle said, you know what I mean? I put those people on goofy time. You feel me? Like, I let them play themselves out, and I just watch the show. You know, I just sit back and watch the show. You feel me? Like,
that's true.
You could be a dope b-boy and not respected. You know what I mean? Would you rather? I'd rather be not that dope and respected than be a dope b-boy but not respected by like the ill peeps. You know what I mean? Like, you know, growing up, you wanted to gain that respect from the illest, you know, that came before you. So, you know, I think a lot of these kids don't care to be respected, and that's cool if you don't, but you're going to play yourself out. That's it, you know? It might take a year, it might take 2 years, it might take 5 years, but it's going to happen eventually, you know what I mean? And me, I've been here 23 years, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
Trying to stay true to the game.
For real. Yo, shouts to everybody that's joining live, you know what I mean? I got my man Poop. Any last, you know, perspective on things, how we're gonna keep moving forward, Poop, you know what I'm saying, with the Olympics coming up and all that? How can we as a scene keep it moving, you know, at the same time, you know, stay balanced as well?
You know, I think I'll end it with this. I'll just say this, right? Like, I'm tired of people complaining about what's wrong with the scene and not doing anything. You feel me? So if you don't support the Olympics, cool, don't support it, but don't talk shit about it. Throw your own jam and do something that contributes to the scene and to the community. You know what I mean? Bring that balance. You feel me? So, like, for me, I support the Olympics, but I also throw a raw jam called Flow Lords Anniversary, United Styles. And that's me and my crew and Lean Rock and Big Nino. That's like our contribution to the scene. We try to throw a raw jam and that brings balance. You know what I mean? So I support anything that is that's elevating the scene as long as it's not whack. And I won't, you know what I mean? I won't diss it right away. But if you're not feeling it, don't support it. Just do your own thing. You know what I mean? And add to the scene. You feel me? So I think, yeah, you know, if you don't like the Olympics, that's cool. But don't complain. Don't complain about it. Do something to change it. You feel me? Because complaining is not really, it's not helping anybody. You feel me? It's not really doing nothing. So, so I think that, yo, shout out to Crazy Legs, man. He's in Puerto Rico holding it down for my people. Doing some really dope philanthropy work out there. You know, people in Puerto Rico right now are going through like earthquake after earthquake right now. I'm sure it's like, man, people are really, you know, no power, probably going homeless and stuff like that. So I respect that and I admire that, you know what I mean? And I think that's something that everybody should do at one point in their life is try to give back. So got tremendous props to Crazy Legs.
He's out there front lining.
Yeah, for being selfless. You know what I mean? That's really dope. So shout out to him on that. And yeah, man, so I'll end it with that. You know what I mean? Just telling people, I'm tired of hearing people complain. So, you know, everybody complains about this and that and this. Like, yo, don't complain if you lost. If you lost a battle, go practice. You know what I mean? If you don't like the Olympics, make your own battle. You know, if you only want to support real stuff, then go support the real dope underground jams. Throw your hoodie on and hit the ciphers only. You know what I mean? If you don't like the competitions, you know what I mean? Like, do something. You know, do something to make the scene better or like add to the scene. You feel me?
Right. I mean, basically, if you think about it, the scene is like a like an organism. You know what I'm saying? And so, yo, if you want to keep it healthy,
ecosystem, you know?
yeah, you want to keep it healthy and the way how you feel, then do something. You know, talking online on Facebook ain't gonna do nothing. You know, so I mean, I tell you what, as long as MZK, you know, like cats like Legs, got Poop, you know, cats like that, got fan, like cats really out there. They're really doing it, you know. So, you know, this we're gonna keep it moving. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think nothing's gonna be lost, or when the Olympics came, it's not gonna be on some other shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, everybody keep doing work. It's about putting in work. You know, whether it be breaking, developing the next generation, or just out there, just, you know, organizing communities, or you know, creating platforms and all that. Yo, let's all put in work, y'all. That's what it's about, man. So, but yo, Pookie, man, thank you for being part of this show, man. Bridge the Gap. You know what I mean? And I'll upload this on YouTube, and so you can share it on your, you know, on your social media and all that for those who missed out. But yeah, man, I'm here just to, you know, like I call it Bridge the Gap for a reason. I feel like we're like that generation, right? We represent that generation that we know the OGs, right? And we know the ins and outs, and we're trying to help the next generation understand that, at the same time move forward, you know what I'm saying? See how they're going to take it to the next level, you know what I mean? Because I think it's going to be their time, you know? And, you know, yo, keep doing your part, my bro. You know, I'll respect you. You know what I'm saying?
I will, man. I will for sure. I will try my best, you know what I mean, to help out the new generation. Like you said, me and you, we like smack in the middle, you know what I mean, of both. So, definitely.
No doubt. Thank you for everybody for joining. Yo, shouts to Pookie. Shouts to Floor Lords.
Thank y'all.
And
thank y'all.
On to the next. Now, I'll see you. We cross paths soon, bro. All right?
For sure. Peace out, everybody. Much love.
Respect, dude.
Peace.
Out.